Alright, for this sprint I've got my engine diagram set up, so we've got it organized from top to bottom. There, the actual engine H file there. Now actually turned into a singleton, no public constructors or anything. The run method's in and works correctly. And then moving down the chain, we've got the asset managers over here that we worked on for the last sprint. The asset manager of the model shader, texture manager, respectively. Then new for this sprint, we have the camera manager, which is a basic singleton that keeps the current camera and allows the user to access and manipulate the various fields thereof. I'm not exactly sure yet what the best way to deal with a flying or otherwise moving camera is. I took a look at a demo with a flying camera, and these are the methods that whoever made the demos used in the game CPP. But I'm not sure if having those methods directly as public statics is the best way to go. I'm thinking about maybe just leaving set oriented in position as the only way that the user can manipulate the camera. Not sure yet. It's gonna take some more looking into. But other than that, it's a pretty standard singleton. Basic setup, manipulation, making sure that deletions, when they happen, are noted in the debug message. That's about it. Back to the diagram. Also new for this sprint is the scene manager, scene, and game object classes. I know we're going to be extending these for the next sprint, but for the moment we've got the scene manager handling the scene that the user creates. It's not yet set up for multiple scenes, and then the scene being essentially where the user declares all the game objects that are going to be part of the scene. So we'll start the code review from the bottom up. Game object, just a basic class for inheritance's sake. I chose to avoid the virtual inheritance just because the original idea I had for the engine was to have these kind of classes each as a individual block. So if you wanted to have something that was drawable, updatable, and some other feature, then you had a specific class name like a game object versus an actor versus whatever. Also, I feel like having the components baked into whatever class you decide to use finally is a little easier to implement from an engine side, so I figure that's easier to do for easier to conceptualize, easier to do for a first engine. I do like the virtual inheritance. I think the added flexibility is definitely a good thing, but I don't think I'm going to attempt that on this first run through. So drawable and updatable, also very simple, just typical methods to be overridden, used for polymorphism there. The scene here is another class mainly designed for extension later. So we have the pure virtual initialize function, scene end, update and draw. Obviously, for the upcoming sprint, are going to be done away with from the user's point of view, and will be automatically called on all the game objects that they have. The scene manager then handles the setting and hooking the scene into the game.cpp update cycle. So for that, static methods here. I've started thinking about the use of multiple scenes, but haven't implemented it yet. I think that's something that's going to come when we have a few more of the base level systems put together, and at least have this scene fully realized in the automatic update and draw of the objects that need that sort of thing. The scene manager is just basically a pass-through for all of these functions. Again, making sure that delete is noted in the debug message. So that leaves the main engine CPP much cleaner than it was before. The initialize calls the whatever the user decides to initialize. Load content deals with only the managers. Update only the managers. Draw again just the managers. The deletion here goes through the managers that are relevant. These are also going to make a note in the output window. So all of that should be taken care of. One thing that I am still kind of debating is how to handle the setup and creation of the first scene, because obviously there's a pointer here that we're creating that never gets deleted. I'm not sure. It might be a thing that the scene manager handles once we get multiple scenes in. It'll handle the passing of whichever pointers are relevant and the deletion when they're no longer relevant. But for now, it's just kind of a memory leak. I thought about changing the Quartz singleton, the game CPP, to have a set first scene method so that this wasn't even necessary, but that doesn't really solve the problem because the user will still need to create a scene pointer, pass it through a different method that still leaves the memory leak. So that's something I'll still need to consider later on. I think that's it for this sprint.